Okie dokie. So we're going to start with the first section, which is write each equation in standard form. Okay. And we know that standard form is A of X plus B of Y is equal to C. Okay, this is what we wrote, or what is written in the instructions, and we wrote the equation, or at least I asked you guys to write it. Okay, if you haven't written it already, please do so. And what we're going to start off with is by answering problem number 3. Okay, which is y plus 2 is equal to 2/3 times the difference of x minus 9. Okay, a couple of things to keep in mind before we begin. Okay, we want to keep A, the coefficient A must be positive. Okay, another thing to keep in mind, coefficients A, B, and C have to be whole numbers. Okay, we cannot have fractions, we cannot have decimals. All right?
Teacher, sorry to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I cannot see the screen. Is it okay if I turn on the camera to see if it works better? I can't see what you're talking.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, so these two things we have to keep in mind before we start answering. It must be positive, okay, which is the coefficient for x. B and A, B, and C have to be whole numbers, okay? In this case, if you notice, we have a fraction right here, okay? We're gonna deal with that fraction in just a little bit. But how do you guys suppose that we begin solving?
I think we multiply the denominator or the 3 in both sides.
Okay, but before we do that, okay, what is it that I need to start off with?
Do a whole number?
Before the whole number.
How se deshacerse?
Off with. Get rid of.
Get a what?
Rid of.
Rid of the fraction?
No. Well, right now I have a fraction that is being multiplied times x minus 9. What do I need to do? Mario, Diego, turn on your camera, please.
Busy have already bad internet, but okay.
Make sure that your parents call the office.
Yeah, I already told my mom.
Okay, Paulina, I can't see you there in the camera. What do we start off with?
Maybe adding 9?
No, we cannot add 9 here because first the 9 is being multiplied, so I really can't get rid of it yet. What do I do? Come on, guys. We've seen a lot of properties and how to solve equations.
Divide by 2/3.
No, I can't. I can't yet. What does this look like right here? What kind of does it look like?
I'm confused. They say that we didn't need fractions. We need to multiply now.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that yet. Okay. What does this look like here first?
Teacher, we get to multiply by the inverse fraction to get rid of the 2/3.
We could, okay, but first we have to remember that the 2/3 are going to be multiplied times x minus 9. How do I get rid of this? Well, not rid, but how do I solve this section first? This is the section that I'm going to start with. How do I solve this? Mario?
Maybe it would be 2/3 of x minus 6.
Exactly, okay? And that is called distributing, okay? The first thing that I have to do is I have to distribute. Guys, this is something that we're gonna continue using for quite some time now. So this is, you guys should already know this. Okay, we have to use the distributive property and distribute the 2/3, multiply it times x and multiply it times -9. So like Mario said, we get 2/3 of x minus 6, okay? Why minus 6? Well, because we have to multiply 2/3 times 9. 2 times 9 is 18. 3 times 1 is 3. And 18 divided by 3 gives us 6. Okay? So here, we just used the distributive property to get rid of our parentheses, okay? Now, what else, okay? What else do we have to do?
Okay, then I think subtract the 2 in both sides for stay the y alone.
Okay, we can do that. But, let's see. But before we do that, I want you to keep something in mind. A, remember, must be positive, okay? In this case, 2/3 represents A. And right here, if we have it on this side of the equal sign, it's gonna be positive. So if I subtract, remember that my equation in standard form is A of x plus B of y is equal to C. Okay, I want to keep A positive, so since this is a whole number by itself, we don't want to bring it over here because x and y need to be on one side and the whole numbers on the other side. Okay, so instead of subtracting 2, what can I do, Derek?
Yeah, so I don't know.
I want to keep the whole numbers on one side and then my coefficients with the variables on the other side, okay? So since A is positive here, I really don't want to move it. But what can I move, Amaris?
We can add the 6.
Exactly. Okay. If we don't want to move the 2, then we can move the 6. Okay. Remember, that's the only catch. We want to keep the A positive. Okay. So we're going to add 6 instead of subtract 2. So we're going to have y plus 8 is equal to 2/3 x. Okay. We're getting closer. What else do I need to do?
Then I think we need to multiply by 3. No, yes, both sides. Multiply by 3 both sides.
Yes, we need to get rid of this fraction, guys, because remember A, B, and C have to be whole numbers. Okay, so we can go ahead and multiply everything times 3. Because remember, what you do on one side of the equal sign, you have to reproduce it on the other side of the equal sign. Okay, so in this case, I'm going to do this multiplication here. 2/3 times 3 is going to be equal to 2 times 3 is 6. 3 times 1 is 3, so that's going to be equal to 2. Okay, now we multiplied this times 3 because remember, we want to get rid of the fraction. Okay, we cannot have any fractions in any of our coefficients, so we had to multiply here times 3 instead of times 3/2. Okay, because if we multiply times 3/2, we would still have a coefficient. Okay, so we just multiplied times the denominator. So let me rewrite this. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 8 is 24. And we already did 2/3 times 3, which is 2x. Okay, I'm not done yet. What else do I have to do?
Then I think they need to subtract in both sides the 3y.
Exactly. Okay, remember the variable x and the y go on one side and the whole number goes on the other one, so we have to subtract the 3y from both sides, and we get 2x, okay, we're going to write them in order, minus 3y is equal to 24. Okay, the only thing that I did here was flip it. Okay, so I could have the variables x and y first, and then the c at the end. Okay, so if you notice, this answer or this equation is now in the form a of x plus b of y is equal to c. Okay, the only difference is here the y is the coefficient of y is negative. That's why it's a -3 instead of a +3. Okay, so this would be my final answer. Questions, guys?
No, teacher.
Okay, so on numbers 1 through 6, we have to have our answers, remember, in standard form. okay? Just like we did here for number 3, you guys have to distribute, then use your properties of equality, keeping in mind that we want to keep it positive, okay? And if for any reason you have fractions, which you do on number 5 and on number 2, 5, and 6, okay, you need to multiply times the denominator that is from the fraction in order to get rid of it and have A, B, and C become only whole numbers, okay? How are we doing, Diego? Any questions?
Well, I got out in my part, but I think I'm doing well.
Okay, Santiago? Turn on your mic, Santiago. Monse, how are we doing? Monse? She locked out. Angel, you have a question?
If we finish, what we do?
You finished everything? Also
The page 65? Yes.
all of it? Upload it? Okay. Now, the second section here, guys, has to do with writing equations in slope-intercept form. All right, so we have write in each equation in slope-intercept form, okay? And our intercept form, remember, is y is equal to mx plus b, okay, where the m is our slope and the b is the y-intercept, okay? So let's go ahead and get started on this with number 7. Okay, this one's a lot easier because it doesn't matter if we have a fraction or not. Okay, remember that our slope can actually be a fraction. So let's go ahead and do number 7 here. We have y plus 4 is equal to 4 times x minus 2. Okay, what are we going to do here? What's the first thing that we have to do? Angel, since you finished, what's the first thing that we have to do?
That what number is, teacher?
Number 7.
So
What do we do first?
we pass the things to the other side.
What things?
And will be the 4 and the 12.
What 12?
No. Yeah, just the 4.
This 4, we pass it over here?
Yes.
Okay.
No, I think no. We first distribute, the
Exactly.
4
The first
times
thing
x,
to do.
and then 4 times -2.
Okay.
That is for x minus 8.
4x minus 8. The first thing to do is we need to distribute. Okay, now, what do?
We added 8 in both sides.
Add 8 to both sides?
I think so, yeah.
Remember, my equation is y is equal to mx plus b.
Oh, no. Then we subtract 4 in both sides.
Exactly. We want to get y by itself. So we're going to subtract 4. Okay. So then that's going to give us y is equal to 4x minus 12. Okay. If you notice, this one's a lot easier. Okay. We have it now in the form y is equal to mx plus b.
Teacher, but why 12 if we are subtracting?
Oh,
It's negative
because
8.
negative 8 minus 4 is equal to negative 12. Remember that when you subtract, you add the opposite. So it would actually be negative 8 plus negative 4. Negative and a negative, they're the same sign, so we add them and we put the sign that we're using. That's why it's minus 12.